In today's Bible study, we're diving into the life of a man who fell hard because of lust, a warning for every man walking with God. This is part 4 of a multi-part series. Judah, the fourth son of Jacob and the forefather of the tribe from which King David and ultimately Jesus would come, had a moment in his life that serves as a serious warning about the power of lust and the consequences of giving in to sinful desire. His story is found in Genesis chapter 38, a chapter that seems out of place at first, but teaches deep truths about integrity, immorality, and God's grace. Genesis 38 interrupts the Joseph narrative to give us a glimpse into Judah's life. The chapter opens with him separating from his brothers and marrying a Canaanite woman. That alone was a compromise. The Canaanites were known for their idolatry and wicked practices, and God had always warned his people not to intermarry with them. But Judah was already moving in the wrong direction. Judah had 3 sons, Onan, and Shelah. Married a woman named Tamar, but Genesis 38:7 says, "But Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord put him to death." As was the custom, the next brother, Onan, was supposed to give Tamar a child in his brother's name. But he refused to do it properly and used her for pleasure without fulfilling his duty. God saw it as wicked and struck him down as well. Now Judah was afraid that if Tamar married his last son, Shelah, something would happen to him too. So instead of being honest, Judah lied to Tamar and told her to wait until Shelah grew up. He had no intention of giving Shelah to her. Tamar, left alone and childless, came up with a plan. Genesis 38:14-15. She took off her widow's garments and covered herself with a veil, wrapping herself up, and sat at the entrance to Enaim. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. Judah was on his way to shear his sheep. He saw a woman he thought was a prostitute, and without hesitation he approached her. He said in verse 16, "Come, let me come into you," not knowing it was his daughter-in-law. Judah didn't have payment with him, so he promised her a young goat. As a pledge, she asked for his seal, cord, and staff, personal items that would later expose him. Genesis 38:18. So he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him. Afterward, Judah sent the goat, but the woman was gone. No one in the area knew of any prostitute. 3 months later, news came to Judah. Genesis 38:24. About 3 months later, Judah was told, "Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been immoral. Moreover, she is pregnant by immorality." And Judah said, "Bring her out and let her be burned." Judah was ready to judge her until she brought out his own items. She said in verse 25, "By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant." Genesis 38:26. Then Judah identified them and said, "She is more righteous than I, since I did not give her to my son Shelah." And he did not know her again. Here we see how lust can lead even a prominent man of God's people to hypocrisy, shame, and public humiliation. Judah was ready to condemn someone else for what he himself had done. Lust blinded his moral judgment. What are the key lessons here? 1. Lust ignores identity and responsibility. Judah didn't ask who the woman was. He didn't care. He acted on impulse. Lust removes discernment. It overrides logic. It treats people as objects to be used rather than souls to be respected. 2. Lust leads to shame and hypocrisy. Judah was ready to punish someone for sin until it was revealed that he was guilty himself. Jesus warned about this in Matthew 7:5. "You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye." 3. God still works through broken people. This chapter ends with Tamar giving birth to twins, one of whom was Perez. If you trace the genealogy of Jesus in Matthew 1:3, you'll see. And Judah the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar. God included this broken story in the lineage of Christ to show that his grace is greater than sin. Judah repented. This was a turning point in his life. Later in Genesis 44, we see a changed Judah offering himself as a slave in place of his brother Benjamin. His character was restored. So what can we take away? Even leaders can fall into lust. Even men chosen for God's purposes can be reckless if they don't guard their hearts. Judah wasn't in a brothel. He was on the road doing his daily business. Temptation doesn't always come where we expect it. We must stay alert. We must flee temptation. We must walk in humility. Paul wrote in 1 Thessalonians 4:3-5, "For this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you abstain from sexual immorality, that each one of you know how to control his own body in holiness and honor, not in the passion of lust." Judah failed, but he repented. That is the mercy of God. But let us not be like him. Let us be men who walk in integrity when no one is watching. Let us learn from his fall and guard our hearts today. If you enjoyed learning about the Bible, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment about what story you want to see next.